world blind. Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my sound. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits. I'm losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
Yeah. There's no mercy in this world, just hunger-thirsty persons in different versions. Each new update, that shit worsens. Why? Pull back the curtain and you'll see the different vermin. We all have different burdens that all seem to cause disturbance. Yo, so do me a favor, don't treat me like a neighbor. Don't need the different flavors of your problems just to savor. I've got my own issues, I need a comb to get through. Don't need to groan with you, just go get your own tissue.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
And what is going on, everybody? So welcome. I honestly kind of a bit of an interesting stream that I actually want to put together with the postseason kind of, well, obviously not say wrapping up a little bit, but kind of giving an idea of where the Phillies have to go, especially with the free agent market coming up for 2023. But before we talk about it, I'll kind of give our thoughts and all that. If you guys are new, welcome everybody. Make sure you smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, guys are new, and definitely shout the content. Make sure you ring that notification bell so you guys will not miss any new uploads or live streams like these or just any coverages. With that out of the way, let's just kind of hop right into it. So, obviously, the Phillies do have some holes. I think that's been kind of been given. Well, in some areas, I would say they've had a lot of holes. I would say not too many holes, but I think to the point where we're not getting over that hump to where we want to be. And what I mean by this, we have some guys that are just kind of holding this back. It's just like there's a lot of things that can break down into it. I have in my notes right next to me some targets that the Phillies should try at least take a shot at in free agency and try to improve at some spots. Like first of all, I mean the first thing I want to kind of talk about is shortstop, because I think for me, even though you have Stott, I think try to move him more to the second. I think Stott's more built like a second baseman than a shortstop. And just let Segura walk, because Segura's already up there in age. I mean, I don't know how much more longer you're going to get more production out of him. Obviously, try to get younger. Get like a guy like Trey Turner or Xander Bogaerts. I say more Trey Turner because I think he can get both the best of both worlds, offensively and defensively. Let me look. I mean, so far this past season for Trey Turner, played 160 games, 21 homers, a 298 average, 343 on base, 466 slugging, and has a 6.3 WAR. Which, for those who don't know, WAR is wins above replacement. That's that kind of measures how valuable a player is for the team. I mean, I would say I feel like Turner is should be one of those guys that should be on the Phillies radar at all times. If I'm Dave Dombrowski, because we really had a solid shortstop since the days of Jimmy Rollins. And some Phillies fans are kind of giving Stott a lot of shit because, the kid's a rookie playing his first, postseason. No, I mean, it's like I find it very hilarious to say, for lack of a better term, to see this fan base kind of really turn on Stott. Well, portion of it, I would say, to turn on Stott, because it's like, it's just like you've not been around the game long enough to realize there's a thing called growth and development. And people have to realize that this is Stott's first year in the big leagues. I think over time, I think he's definitely going to get better as he produce improves year after year. I mean, it's just like a lot of times, I mean, I don't know, but I mean, Xander Bogaerts I would not mind either, but I think what you're going to get out of Bogaerts, I mean, he's good. He's decent defensively, but I think he's more known to be more of an offensive type of shortstop. But I mean, you can't go wrong with one or the other in free agency, because Trey Turner, we know he's one of the bigger marquee, I would say, shortstops on the market. Bogaerts, I think overall, though, may not be like I would say not the sexiest name in the shortstop class. I mean, other than this guy, the likes of Correa, who's, I mean, it's been. But for me, I mean, if you're going to have to ask me who would I either want to choose, Turner or Bogaerts, for me, I have to go with Turner, just because this is the way that I see it. With Turner, I think we know what we're getting out of Trey Turner. Not to mention, too, he's a good leadoff hitter. He can give you almost 20 plus home runs a year, which I think he has an opportunity to do, so especially in that ballpark. Especially to left center, which is left center to center field, which is the deepest part of the ballpark. Turner can run, and I think we need a guy like someone like a Trey Turner to kind of like set the tone, I would say, in games, which we really have not. Has not been the. I would say not been the best for us. I would say, it's just like. I mean, overall, in this career for Trey Turner, though, a 31.6 WAR. But then again, I don't know. I think Turner, I think Bogaerts has got to be in his late 20s as well, almost still in the prime of his career. But whatever the case may be, I think overall we need to get younger. Well, I mean, yes, we have Stott, but I think Stott, like I said, let Segura walk, because the Segura is like in his early 30s. Like I said, who knows how much production you're going to get out of Gene Segura at this point of his career. Move Stott to second. Definitely get a guy like Trey Turner or Xander Bogaerts at short. It's just like we do need a guy to really lead all. I mean, hell, give me Bogaerts also to lead off as well, because only thing you can't go wrong with is being a leadoff hitter. But for me, on the other hand, it's very interesting to take a look at, or just see, kind of really think. Try to put myself in Dave Dombrowski's shoes and try to see where Dave Dombrowski might go this off season, because we know we have a lot of guys on expiring contracts, and I think if you can try to cut your losses for some of these guys, I mean, you can definitely have a lot more money spent, a lot of money to spend. Some, I feel like, even though 1 year you just have proved to, I think, deserve a contract extension. Like one in particular for me, I think give David Robertson another chance. I think he actually pitched pretty well this entire year. I mean, despite acquiring him at the trade deadline, actually pitched pretty well for us, which is surprising to say. For the first, since what he really hasn't really since one of those freak injuries that's kind of set him back a little bit, I would say. But looking at everything else, but I mean, this is the way that I want to try to think about it because I mean, look, you got Bogarts at 30, but so I mean, if you could, like I said, going back to my thing on Bogarts, yes, I mean, only 30 years old, has hit 15 homers, played 150 games, 307 average. But then again, you got because Bogarts is, like I said, not one of the flashiest defenders, but I do think he's still good enough to where he can give you really good defensive production. I mean, so far this past season, he gave an abysmal Boston Red Sox team a 6.1 wins above replacement. So basically, if you really think about it, he's one of the more valuable players on that Red Sox team. But knowing that he's really going to opt out of his contract to test the free agent market because Noah Bloom, knowing Bogarts, that the Boston Red Sox might not go anywhere for the next couple of years or so because we knew that the Boston Red Sox are a rebuilding team, I would say, because I mean, Bogarts for me, for a guy that's in his age, going into his soon to be age 31 season, I think he deserves a lot better than what Boston has given him. The way that I see it, that's the way that I mean, because look, I mean, if you really think about it, I think Bogarts, could be on the cheaper end of the two. Knowing that Turner, let me check on that really quick. But yeah, it's like I said, man. Like I said, I mean that's the reason why I had to set up the stream in the first place because there's some interesting names that I do think the Phils should at least try to take a look at or try to take a shot out. Bear with me, everybody. Just got to pull up Spot Track. Also, and you want to, for those who want to check it out, I mean, Spot Track is also a good tool to and also evaluate how especially what some of these guys are worth nowadays. But when it comes to the shortstop position, honestly, not great. I mean, the fact that after how we played the last two games, I don't feel really confident because let's be real. We're like I said, and it's funny. It's funny that I have people coming at me because you have to realize we were like, even though we got hot at the right time, some of these Phillies fans got to remember I think we are here. I think this is, we just don't have some of these personnel to, we can beat good teams, but we just, at times we don't have the personnel to show for it. Now the Dodgers we can beat. I mean, yes, we beat them in the regular season, but Houston's a completely different animal in the postseason. We know that. No, it was. It was a deflating loss. It pissed off the entire fan base. But I mean, I don't know. Like I said, look, win or lose. Look, I look at it this way. It's still a good season either way, but it was very disappointing to how this series could be finished. Out of here, Tom Mans. But looking at like I said, looking at the shortstop market class. Oh, God. Let's see. Because like I said, the only two names that I think, other than Carlos Correa, I think the dude is not great. And if Dante was on here, he'll probably tell you the exact same thing. We know that Correa, well, like I said, I mean, and then again, you got two other cheaper options than Aledmus Diaz and Iglesias, but they have not really shown up. At that point, I really do not care about Kyrie Irving. I mean, that's his fault for kind of. That's how Kyrie Irving is, but that's besides the point. Honestly, Brandon, no. I would say put more Stott at second base because I feel like Stott. Think about it this way: when Segura was out with that finger injury, it seemed to me that Stott looked like he's more comfortable at second base than he does shortstop. Because yes, granted, we had to release Didi because of that, and I do feel like, I think get like a Turner or a Xander Bogaerts at shortstop, I think can really bolster that side. Because I do feel like that's just how I would go for it. Because Stott for me is more, I feel like it's more built as a prototypical second baseman, just the way he's built. But like I said, I mean, Carlos Correa, I mean, well, Trey Turner, like I said, is only you're the more expensive end at 33.6 mil, which is his market value. I mean, rightfully so for a guy shouldn't be entering his age 30 season. Yeah, Correa, who's at 31.7 million. Bogart's at just barely over at 31 million. Because I mean, Swanson's not a bad option either, but I think he's still gonna. I think Swanson is definitely gonna resign with Atlanta. I think Atlanta would be stupid enough to where they let that man walk. I mean, the fact that, but I mean, but yes, but here's the thing. This is the word that I see it. I want more offensive firepower at shortstop. Sosa for me is more of a bench player. In terms of what he can bring. Yes, and offensively he isn't the best offensively. I mean, like I said, I mean Trey Turner or Xander Bogaerts is one of my two options if I'm Dave Dombrowski going into free agency. And I'm looking at where this team will go. But I mean, it's been, like I said, I mean, it's been a very, I don't know, but I mean, like I said, the free agent market is going to be very interesting to take a look at. And knowing that who's going to be available, because like I said, the 2023, no matter what position it is, it's a very, yes, I get that he's 30, but I still think you can get him on a cheap deal. That's the way that I would see it. But I mean, and like I said, I mean, Xander Bogaerts, yeah, may not be I'd say not from like a top defender, but this year though, I think he has proved otherwise. But I think again, like for me, hell, if we would take a shot at Turner, I would not be too mad about that because I mean, Trey Turner, I think you can give us everything what we need out of typical leadoff hitter. And speaking of Coach Dante in the building, what up, my guy? What up, Dante? Kind of going over some free agent targets that. Yeah, what up, Mike? What up, Mike? Appreciate everybody coming through as well. Like I said, with the shortstop position, I still feel like. Are we talking what Bryce wants other? You know what? That does make sense. So I mean, he is them teammates at Washington. So I mean, kind of does make sense. But I mean, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens because, like I said, the 2023 free agent class is very loaded. You still have guys like Clayton Kershaw that's going to be a free agent. We know that DeGrom's going to be a free agent. Justin Verlander, but he's still. Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I said. Like if we do wind up, say, failing out. Well, I'll get to pitching just a second because I've actually written down some guys that I would like to see, which is going to be very interesting. But when it comes to, like I said, the shortstop, I know is one of our. I would say you could definitely upgrade and move stock to second, which I can definitely would see. But to the outfield, though, I mean, the center field, I think we should be okay with Brandon Marsh out there. Matt Vierling, well, and then I'll get to breaking that down. But I mean, it's just been, I would say too, it's been not been great. And some outfield choices. I mean, once Bryce Harper gets healthy when his arm gets healthy, I think we're going to see him back in right. Probably have Schwarber DH. That's what I would do. But some of the interesting outfield options one of them, I had definitely took a reading about, and that was Masataka Yoshida from the Oryx Buffaloes. Has been asking to be posted and wants to play for Philadelphia, which is shocking because I mean, for those who've been around for the Phillies baseball for the longest time, the last Japanese player we ever had was Taguchi. a lot of people tend to forget about Taguchi was with that 2008 World Series roster. But that's besides the point. Yoshida, from what I've understood and what I've read about him, is that he's got a lot of pop, a good defender. I mean, he's pretty much the Japanese version of Bryce Harper, is the way that Sports Illustrated has described him. And I just feel like now that's what I mean, shit. Take a chance on getting a guy from Japan wouldn't hurt, I would say. But it's like, but I mean, that's just the way that, I mean, either way though. But like I said, I mean, Dave Dombrowski has some work to do to fix these holes. But I will get to the rotation just a second, because I mean, knowing that our outfield, I mean, it's not great, but we have some good defenders out there. I mean, we knew that Marsh is a really good defender. But I mean, I can't complain. But we'll see. But other than that, though, and even Jock Peterson. Now, Jock Peterson, not well. This is the way I see it. I know Jock Peterson generally had the greatest years. In terms of the numbers he's put up, especially with the San Francisco Giants this year. I would still take a chance on him, because I think he can also give you another extra left-handed bat in this order. So I do feel like we could definitely use some outfield help as well, especially in the left field, by any stretch of the means, because we know that Harper's going to be back in right field very soon. Definitely, I mean, unfortunately, he's going to be platooning Vierling and Brandon Marsh. Not the ideal situation I would have, but I mean, I think both are just, good defenders, but I mean, we'll see what happens. But now for the first base position, and for those who have kind of been following the channel a lot, what up, normal guy? What up? And it's just, I've been ranting raving for this Phillies team to cut their ties with Rhys Hoskins at this point, just because his offensive production, he's just very inconsistent with his offensive production. Only the fact that he has 230 home run seasons so far in his time with Philadelphia, and good Lord, I mean, his defense has not been the best, I would say, just because it's just. No, I don't want to move Kyle to first. I think Kyle's more of a DH in my honest opinion. But I have a couple first baseman ideas or /DH, because I thought maybe I could take a shot on. I don't know, man. Like the one guy, I know this may sound crazy, and try not to take a shot on, is Jose Abreu. Yes, granted he is 35. But you have to really look at the numbers that Abreu has put up, especially on a bad White Sox team. He was pretty much the more consistent player and a much better defender at first base than Rhys Hoskins. Because Rhys, for the longest time, just never was that great defender. At this point of his career, he's just best as a DH. I mean, he'll be good elsewhere at this point. So I would say take a chance on Abreu or Daniel Vogelback. Yeah, and Vogelback, not one of the better options of the first base position, but it's a decent defense. It has been I looked at his career numbers overall as a fielder. I think committed 6 errors throughout his entire MLB career. I mean, and I think he's like above 900 fielding percent or something like that. He's a very good defender and another DH possibility for this Phillies team. Looking at everything else though, but I do feel like now, because those are the two guys I would like to try to snatch at first base. If we do, at this point, just try to get rid of Hoskins as best as you can. That's the way that I would see it. But looking at it, like I said, it's been meh. Because I even said this too. Phillies fans should know, the first base position has not been the best since Howard left. Yes, we know that Howard was on the back end of his career, especially after 2011. Not been the best, I would say. But I just feel like now this is an opportunity to at least improve the first base position, try to get somebody can play Gold Glove defense, has a good bat, and has been a consistent offensive machine. I think Jose Abreu is, for me, on the other hand, especially at 35, I think you can definitely get him on the cheaper end. Now for the rotation, Nola, I don't know. Nola for me is 50-50. I mean, if we do want to pick up the, I think it was a club or player option for Nola. If we do want to picking that up, you're going to wind up having, Wheeler, Nola, Ranger, the first top three of the rotation. If you do move on from, Noah Syndergaard, which I think they should. Yep. Yeah, Rizzo's a free agent, but he's more on the expensive end. Rizzo is more on the expensive end of first baseman at 33. Even though I think he's more the, let me check. Oh, let me check on that for you. But I mean, with the 23, I guess. Well, let's just take a look. See. God damn. There we go. All right. So for the first base position, when I look at it's not as. Oh, nah, not second base. Goes first. So, I mean, spot track is, and yeah. Well, you got to think too, and I think Rizzo might be the last thing the Yankees want to do because remember, you still got Judge. That's an upcoming is the free agent. This right now, Judge is a free agent, and the fact that the Yankees and I think Judge could be good elsewhere, in my honest opinion. Because I mean the Yankees, because I don't think the Yankees may not, and the fact that they made the dumb decision to, but yeah, it's just like I said, but Judge should be like the number one priority for the Yankees, in my honest opinion. Look, Rizzo will be great. It could be another good guy to take. Actually, I didn't really think about that at first, but I think, I mean, you can't go wrong with either two. Try to get some veteran leadership at that position because, we just really never had a good first base spot since after Howard left. And we knew that, we knew that Howard was declining both offensively and defensively. That's for sure. But since then, it's just we've been through so many different, rebuilding first part has been a part of this organization. Got like a Tommy Joseph. I mean, good Lord, went through so many different scrubs. And it's sad. I mean, it's really sad to see that. But I mean, Rizzo, I wouldn't complain either. Just because if you get him on a good cheap option, like a cheap multi-year deal, and he can give you some good defense, I would say. But looking at everything, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But like I said, I mean, but it's just been, man. 2023 though, the free agent class, like I said, I'm going to do a separate stream in its entirety, and see where some of these guys go, and where some of these free agents will sign, which is funny. And but yeah, I just right now, kind of just because, like I said, I mean, when it comes to the pitching side of things, like I said, I mean, which I will kind of talk about, is that you already have two guys that are pretty much have very high market values. And Jacob deGrom, we knew at 41.75 mil. And then you got, almost 42 million for his market value. And Justin Verlander almost at 41, if it rounded up, basically almost 41.6 or 41.8 million to be exact. Some of the guys that I have, I would try to take a chance, especially if you want to try to at least get some back end of the rotation kind of stuff. I also try to get Carlos Rodon. I know he's going to be a bit of an expensive option, but I don't think this Phillies team would not hesitate to spend any money because I think Dombrowski has really done, at least realized that we do have some holes. Because Rodon, I think he'd be another good lefty option. Could be a number 3 guy in the rotation. You can slide Ranger down to 4, and then either get even get Tyler Anderson could be your number 5 guy in that rotation. So if you really think about it, if we do want to say either get Rodon and Tyler Anderson, I mean, the way that this rotation might set up would be like Wheeler, Nola, Rodon, Ranger Suarez, and definitely Tyler Anderson. That could be your starting 5 in that rotation. Or if you don't want to pick him, Tyler Anderson, also get a guy like Dylan Bundy, who's also pretty at this point of his career is more. We could definitely use that back end of the type of rotation. But like I said, I mean, some of the guys that I've written down was Carlos Rodon, Tyler Anderson, Dylan Bundy, and Sean Manaea. Now, I know Sean Manaea really hasn't really had the best seasons. Well, we'll see, but I still think Noah is probably going to be the 2, but I do think we could try to move him down to 3. But we'll like I said, we'll see what happens. But like you said, I mean, going back to the first base spot though, when I talked about getting Jose Abreu. Like I said, you're getting on the cheaper option at his I mean, under a $10 million market value. I think he, like I said, can get him on a multi-year cheap multi-year deal, team-friendly multi-year deal. But Rizzo though is more on the expensive end at $23 million with his market value. But you got to think too, like Rizzo's about to enter his age 34 in the year because I mean. The only ones they have still in the primes is, I mean, surprised Greg Bird's still in the league. Ronald Guzman, who knows what's going on with him? I mean, Gelsono's been kind of hot and cold, but I think try to get him out of Minnesota, but he has a club option at 14.25 million. But I mean, Brandon Belt, I don't know, got the third highest because surprisingly Josh Bell has a third highest. Yeah, third highest AAV. Hey, you know what up, man? What up, Greg and John? Like I said, I mean, if we can honestly try to get, like I said, if we somehow snag Rizzo, which that's very unlikely. But I think Jose Abreu, if you looked at it, when it comes to the market value, is your second best option. If you want to go, at least try to give him a team friendly deal, even though, good Lord. For a guy that was 30, almost entering, basically almost enter his age 36 season at a salary this season at almost at 20 mil. No, that's very interesting to look at. Starting rotation though, I mean you can't go wrong. For me, I see you can't go wrong with some of these 5 guys: Carlos Rodon, Tyler Anderson, Sean Manaea, and Dylan Bundy, because those are the guys that I want to try to kind of take a shot at. Now I know I think this is kind of like beating around a broken record. It's the bullpen. I think we could use like extra bullpen pieces. There's 4 guys in particular that I actually have written down in my notes. Robert Suarez from the San Diego Padres. Same with Nick Martinez. I think Nick Martinez actually had a really good year for the Padres. Suarez, though, I think, like I said, I think this is going to be the end of the road for the Fighting Phils. Knowing that you have Framber Valdez, who's been very good at home. But yeah, I mean, like I said, with the free agency because for me, knowing that the series is pretty much over. I mean, you have, like I said, Framber Valdez, who actually killed us in Game 2. Now I think he might. I would say I bet I'm going to put this on record. He's going to shut us out in Game 6, and then Houston takes their second World Series title in franchise history. While we sit this year, market 15 years without a fucking World Series title since 2008. But like I said, this is the reason why I had these 2 MLB free agent suits coming up anyways. Knowing that we have some holes to fill. But looking at everything else, though, like, I mean, even like hell, and there's a couple other guys too that I want to take a chance at. Trevor May from the New York Mets. I thought he's a solid arm to have. I mean, we could definitely use a guy like Trevor May in that middle part of that bullpen, like your setup or a long relief guy. Hell, even fucking Trevor Rosenthal. Now, there's a lot of times, I mean, I really can't say from Trevor Rosenthal. I don't know exactly what numbers he's put up this year, but we really, for me, I say just take a chance. Some of these guys to help out that bullpen because let's be real. There are some guys like Angiolotti have to go. I mean, even though he had a really good postseason, but I still can't trust that at times with him. I mean, Alvaro. I mean, we know that Alvaro and Dominguez are our top two guys if we don't decide to retain David Robertson for another year, even though. Because for me, it's very interesting because I'm excited to see because this is a deep class. And I do want to kind of talk about this and kind of discuss it. Speaking of Edwin Diaz, I actually had him on my list, but knowing that, I mean, Edwin Diaz, if you looked at the relievers, actually, since according to Spot Track, actually, let me kind of pull. God, man, what is with my computer today? Let's go to the relief pitchers. Oh, because when I first looked at the, when I looked at it, David Diaz right now is that's one of your expensive options, but I do think, you know what? I mean, at this point, I mean, after the kind of season he has had, couldn't hurt. But I feel like it's highly unlikely because knowing that the Mets are going to try their power to retain Edwin Diaz. But I mean, like I said, I mean, it couldn't hurt. But, you know, I mean, like I said, it's really a lot to think about. And to Lucas, knowing, because like I even said this too, like this, I feel like this is the end of the road. Knowing that Game 6, it's Wheeler, and Wheeler has really not shown to be the guy. Well, hasn't really had the best in the World Series, but throughout the entire postseason, though, has been pretty good. But just when the World Series came along, just did not have it. And knowing that Houston has Framber Valdez going for them, Dusty's pretty much sending the message like, let's just close this out, and get our second World Series title. You know, I mean, this is the way that I see it. And, you know, it sucks. You know, 15. Hey, I wouldn't go that far, but we'll talk about the Eagles on a different time. But knowing that, you know, Diaz, like I said, on the more expensive option at 16.12 million going into his age 29 season, really had a $10.2 million salary that. I mean, we can let Corey Knebel walk. Had a decent year, but just, I don't know, just really never really lived up to it. Brad Hand can certainly go because, I mean, there's a lot of guys I think. That is true. You know, I mean, Bassett, and I saw that Bassett, I've seen other baseball content careers, they kind of discussed that Bassett is going to test the free agency market. But going to that, I mean, Bassett would not be a bad option either, too. If you want to get some veteran help in that rotation. Now that I think about it, Nimmo, I would not mind it, but I think Nimmo is going to stay with the Mets. That's for sure. DeGrom, though, that DeGrom's going to be a very interesting one because if the Mets somehow do not retain, DeGrom, God, that's going to shock the baseball world if they don't. Like Bassett, what you're going to get out of him? Where the hell is he? I mean, he's already going to enter his age 34 season, but right now almost at 21 million, almost 21 million for his annual market value, which is, I think, the 1, 2, 3. about the fifth highest in baseball when it comes to the annual market value for him. But I mean, I don't know though. I mean, but then again, he's a young, but I mean, had a really good year, especially at the age he's at. Who knows? I would not mind taking a chance on that. But there's some guys in this free agency class in the starting pitching category. Some actually could be really good options, but some others I would stay away. The one guy in particular I want to try to stay away from is James Paxton, because the dude already entering is going to be turning 34. I think just right now you can probably make the argument the dude's kind of injury prone. We know that Nola is a free agent, like I said, has a club option, at 16 million. Well, that's a salary, but I think we're definitely picking up that club option. That's for sure. I mean, despite the fact that a really good regular season, though, really actually has a decent market value at almost 26.5 million. DeGrom, yes and no. But if any team wants to improve at the top of the rotation, I mean, definitely the Texas Rangers. What I've been hearing a lot of rumblings at the Texas Rangers might try to make a push for DeGrom because their rotation is not that great. So, I mean, getting like to get someone like DeGrom to help with the rotation couldn't hurt, especially just we know the Texas Rangers got a lot of money to spend. But knowing what the Phillies could use, like I said, I wouldn't say. I mean, would it be awesome to get DeGrom? Yeah, absolutely. But like I said, I mean, the only red flags for me is his injury history. Knowing that DeGrom, let's see, where is it? DeGrom's going to be 35, which is fucking crazy. Yo, what up, Ron? What up? It is fun, and I find it very crazy. I mean, well, Justin Brothers already on the verge of 40. That is crazy. You still have David Price. I don't think he has really done much. I'll stay away from him. I mean, try to stay guys away from the upper 30s. Well, unless you're Justin Verlander. Well, that's besides the point. But, I mean, Syndergaard, I mean, the fact that he almost a 15.3 million annual market value, that is fucking crazy. Because I do not see that kind of value out of Syndergaard, in my honest opinion. But Greinke, no. I mean, it wouldn't hurt. I mean, if you want to go on the cheaper options, I mean, you got Andrew Heaney. He's only at 31, but Andrew Heaney's for me, just been known to throw a lot of BP fastballs a lot of times. And at times has gotten hit around a lot, especially with the Dodgers. Taijuan Walker, even though he's only age of 30, but he has a bit of injury history too. I don't. It gets crazy that Michael Walker's only 31, though. It just looks a lot older than he should, than actually looks. But I mean, that's besides the point. But I mean, like I said, we'll see what the free agency comes. This is kind of what I would say more of like a preview to what the Phillies could do. Even if you want left fielders too, even to give me Andrew Benintendi, for the love of God. I think he could be because if you put him in the lineup, you could probably be a good number 2, number 3 in the order. Have Harper still hitting cleanup. But I mean, there's going to be a lot of. This should be interesting of what this Phillies team can do. Like I said, I didn't have much to go ask for because I mean, like I said, there's going to be some big name free agents that are going to be costing a ton of money. Some actually had good years, but there's going to be, like I said, there's some that has an injury history, which will factor into that. But like I said, I'll talk more of that when I have a few more people on, and we'll talk more. And later tonight at 6:00, we'll talk about the on between the lines as well. Oh yeah, absolutely. And the fact that, and see, this is why I think we need a guy that needs high contact. I think he should be, can be your number 2 guy in the batting order, because I feel like that's the way that I see it. But like I said, this is kind of like, I would say more like I would say like a free agent wish list, you would call it. But overall, though, has not been, how should I say, not been really good for some of these guys. Some of these guys, especially on the Phillies team, has kind of been iffy, to say the least. But we'll see. We'll see when come free agency time. But that's gonna do it for here. Like I said, I didn't want to be here for too long. Talk about these. I'll stay here for about 45 minutes or so. With that being said, though, that's gonna conclude it here for the Phillies free agent targets. Just want to kind of just talk things over and see what pieces could we use coming free agent for the free agency before the 2023 opening day. With that being said, though, appreciate everybody that's been coming through. If you guys are new, make sure you smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, and guys are new. With that being said, this was Robert from the Phillies Shortstop podcast. I'll see you guys in the next one.